Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This is where you get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news that'll be a big week in New Zealand, with all eyes on the Reserve Bank and their OCR decision on Thursday. Markets think a cut is almost certain. The question is, how big? But first, American consumer prices rose for a fifth straight month in June as the cost of petrol and a range of other key services increased. These signs of firming inflation strengthen the case for an interest rate hike later this year. But the jump also pushed down real earnings. And American consumer confidence slipped in early July. The small loss reflected a rise in concern about international developments, but were partly offset by the continued news of job gains. In Greece, their banks will reopen tomorrow, 3 weeks after they were shut down to prevent a system collapsing under a flood of withdrawals. The EU support being provided will allow loans to the ECB and IMF to be repaid. But the mess is not resolved, merely deferred. In fact, Greece's ex-finance minister is pouring scorn on the deal, certain the reforms are going to fail. Apart from the surviving politicians, no one seems to think it is going to work. But things in Europe are not all tainted by Greece. Sales of new cars were up 15% in June, continuing a trend that started 22 months ago, and this was the largest month-on-month increase since December 2009. In China, the scale of official intervention to save the equity markets is now becoming clearer. The country's biggest state-owned banks supplied more than $200 billion to help prop up their equities market. That undermines the view that the recovery is sustainable. Just another case where frightened regulators take private market risk onto public balance sheets. And in Australia, a paper out there on Friday shows that ANZ economists think the skyrocketing rise in house prices is more to do with the low interest rate policy of their Reserve Bank than tax concessions or other factors. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield benchmark fell slightly on Friday to 2.35%. Oil markets are lower after the US-Iran deal. The US benchmark price is now just above $51 a barrel and Brent crude is just above $57 a barrel. Rising supply is dousing prices. The gold price is also down sharply, now at $1,134 an ounce. The Kiwi dollar continues to decline. We start the week at 65.1 US cents, 88.5 Aussie cents and 60.3 euro cents. The TWR is at 70.1. How much of the expected OCR cut on Thursday is priced in is hard to assess, but it is likely most of it is. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.